Hello, my name is Sarah Oxley-Heaney. I'm a second-year part-time anthrozoology PhD student with the University of Exeter. Today, I would like to discuss a few ideas from my anthrozoological master's dissertation, which I completed with the University of Exeter in 2019. Please notice Phoenix, an abandonment survivor, on my shoulder in the slide. I spent 16 years living in Tabuk, Saudi Arabia, and founded what is now one of the first legal animal charities in Saudi Arabia. This research was conducted in order to try and offer a starting point from which strategies can be formed to help cat and human society alike. My dissertation researched abandoned cats in Saudi Arabia and had two focus points. Based on interviews, questionnaires, and social media analysis, this research investigates first the effects of abandonment on cats witnessed by the participants in this research, and second, which I will be presenting today, the reasons for relinquishment given to and perceived by research participants, which leads to an understanding of the overarching factors that affect cat abandonment in Saudi Arabia. Domestic cat, Felis Silvestris Catus, abandonment in Saudi Arabia is a widespread phenomenon. Research has shown that companion animal relinquishment, which includes abandonment, in Western countries is due to multi-dimensional factors, but research on this phenomenon has not been conducted in Saudi Arabia, a gap which this study aims to explore. These are some of the abandoned cats our volunteer charity has rescued. I just want to make a quick note on the term relinquishment. Coe et al. Categorized relinquishment as including abandonment, surrender, and euthanasia. This research focuses on abandonment. However, it highlighted issues regarding determining whether relinquishers who approached rescuers or rescue rehoming social media spaces would actually rehome or abandon. What were their intentions? The ethics parameters for this research prohibited direct contact with abandoners. And although the lack of perspective directly from potential abandoners may seem to be detrimental to the research, it could be argued that asking them directly could introduce social desirability bias, whereby people give responses they feel are socially acceptable, rather than more candid explanations. If asked directly, Coe et al. Note, caretakers may not reveal their real reason for surrender. Di Giacomo also suggests that relinquishers are bound up with the emotional perception that only certain reasons for surrender are accepted at shelters. Hence, due to the ethical parameters and the social desirability bias, the investigation was constructed to analyze data that were within the ethical parameters, while still allowing an analysis for the reasons given by potential relinquishers and witnesses to relinquishment. And this was done by using the three sources of data enumerated above, namely the interviews, questionnaires, and social media analysis. Participants were seasoned rescuers. They understood the nuances of what they are told and what is really meant. When they presented solutions to solve seemingly solvable issues in cat keeping decision-making, relinquishers were often reportedly offering disingenuous but uncontestable excuses. For example, allergies are said to occur suddenly after years of cat ownership. Frequently beseeching requests for adoption transpire when a cat guardian is suddenly urgently traveling and no one is able to take care of the cat. This can be related to finances, lack of facilities, or the family not wanting the cat, or the cat guardian not wanting the cat. Indeed, even after Saudi Arabia's annual extended pre-planned holiday period, participants recounted how there is little or no preparation for pre-planned organised cat care, who are then left on the street or at veterinary clinics outside opening hours, at grooming salons where they remain unclaimed, or outside restaurants, in parks, or just generally in the street. Therefore, people giving reasons of why they wish to relinquish were understood by research participants to be a prelude to abandonment. This figure shows the methodological process. Phase 1 employed gathering data from interviews, social media, and questionnaires. Phase 2 used grounded theory coding on the gathered data. These results were then aggregated with the reasons for relinquishment from an unpublished report created by a rescue group in 2019. In addition, my autoethnographic voice was added. In phase 3, these results were consolidated with the participants' perceived factors contributing to relinquishment and abandonment to perform a model for the set of overarching factors that contribute towards cat abandonment in Saudi Arabia. The model shows 13 distinguishable but intersecting determinants reported as overlapping contributants that impact and influence cat relinquishment and abandonment in Saudi Arabia. These categories had some overlap with previous studies. The blue circles overlaid onto the research findings highlight reasons given for relinquishment in previous studies. In their scoping review of published research on the relinquishment of companion animals in 2014, Coe et al. Examined 60 articles on the topic of feline companion animal relinquishment. A handful of other relevant studies I found were included in this research. Previous studies on relinquishment reveal multidimensional reasons for these practices, reflected in this study's findings. Graduated factors across a variety of relinquishment reasons can contribute towards the collapse of the cat-human bond. The reasons identified in this research for relinquishment, which can be considered as a prelude to abandonment, both converged and diverged with previous cat relinquishment studies. The areas that overlapped were misinformation, a lack of cat care-related information, human expectations not meeting outcomes, changes in human circumstances, cat guardians changing their minds, unwanted cat actions and agency, and changes in cat circumstances. Time prohibits discussing the nuanced findings of the overlapping factors. However, the 7 categories which did not overlap, I can discuss briefly. Number 1, the lack of national facilities. The lack of national facilities for any cat welfare creates a chasm of suffering for cats. Only Riyadh, Jeddah and Dammam Khobar have fully equipped vet clinics, but veterinary clinics have no standards authority to which they are adequately held accountable. And all cities covered in this research were reported as having many clinics with poorly qualified staff. In addition, the ministries for animal welfare that do exist concentrate on livestock and have little experience in small animal care. Animals are reported as routinely being killed and maimed by unqualified or out-of-date staff who are not brought to account. Vets who see such practices are unwilling to report other vets due to the fear of their own position being threatened by staff in authority or by those who have WASTA, or being disparaged in revenge. The current system requires that clinics be closed in response to any complaint while being investigated. Cat guardians are also exposed to people who impersonate vets or receive inappropriate, dishonest treatment from animal pharmacists acting as vets. Unsuspecting cat guardians find their cats receiving anything from water as medicine to operations being carried out using only muscle relaxant sedation with no dissociative drug, or inappropriate, life-threatening procedures being carried out unnecessarily. Such poor practices, when identified, is encouraged to be reported. However, although there is a system for reporting such cases to officials, there are reports of the phones not being answered and the system being difficult for non-Arabic speakers to use in a country where over 30% of residents are non-Saudi. Furthermore, the findings of investigations are not published. This lack of a user-friendly, accountable, transparent, systematic reporting on veterinary cruelty, neglect or abuse cases, and as no change is reported by participants concerning the improvement of vet practices, it can only be assumed that there is either a minimal reporting or no heed of public complaints. Once care cannot be easily found, or when found is dangerous and inappropriate, cat guardians either want to pass their cat to someone they feel can give better care, or do not want the responsibility of keeping the cat, which may become financially burdensome. However, the lack of nationally organised facilities and the bureaucratic mountain preventing those who wish to set up cat welfare facilities legally, meaning there are only a few legal spaces where cats can be relinquished, and a few privately run, tolerated but not legal shelters and boarding facilities, Standards vary widely and are totally insufficient in number to meet relinquishment demand. Number 2, the ease of cat acquisition, coupled with no regulatory framework concerning the sale of cats, results in them being bred and traded in places where disease prevention is uncontrolled. Pet shops and grooming parlours are described as loci for disease, and again, no regulations appear to exist or to be enforced to improve standards. People then dump sick, inconvenient cats, which are expensive to fix. Not only does this result in poor cat health, but also creates friction and tension when cat guardians are unprepared. Money goes to breeders, then cats, rescuers and society pay the price once the cat guardian abandons the cat. Deliberate cat breeding is unregulated, and participants report dirty, unregulated facilities which produce cats that carry disease and are then sold to an uninformed public. Often these cat purchasers are then overwhelmed, cannot find appropriate medical help, and cannot return the cat to the breeder. Breeders were reported as being seen openly abandoning unwanted cats from their cars close to garbage skips. Pet shops, which also breed and provide breeding services, abandon cats with undesirable characteristics, such as behavioural, age-related or physical characteristics, into alleys behind their shops. If cats are not sold by the time they're 4 months old, they are abandoned in the street. Human-controlled cat breeding also occurs in pet shops, where cats are selected, usually based on their looks, by consumers who want their cats to marry, a euphemism for sex. Breeding also occurs via backyard breeders or due to cat agency. In addition, no cats for sale are sterilised, so when cats become sexually mature, many people feel compelled, either due to frustration or to a feeling of duty to the cat for the cat to perform their natural function, and release cats onto the street to mate. Number 3, there are no consequences to abandonment. There are no companion animal registration schemes, no mandatory microchipping to allow relationship identification, and no abandonment reporting system. There are no societal nor legal penalties for cat abandonment. Number 4, normalisation of cats on the street. A pervasive belief exists within KSA that cats belong naturally in the street, where people believe they can and do live healthy, free lives without care or worry. For example, participants report a belief that air inside the home is dirty, and cats, even if sick, benefit greatly from being put outside to get fresh air. This institutional belief is deeply embedded and was illustrated in 2018 when Saudi Telecom launched an advert with an animated video of cats underneath tables in an outdoor cafe. These cats spoke to each other about how the streets were theirs. Such normalisation both blinds people to cat suffering and allows abandonment to be considered as not only acceptable, but without consequence to either society, cat guardian, or cat. Number 5, beliefs. Haram means religiously forbidden. There is a belief that sterilisation is haram, which often results in an overburdened multi-cat household and to cats being unwanted due to their sexual behaviour. This also leads to many cat pregnancies, which at some point means the number of cats become overwhelming, and cats are then either gifted to unwilling family members or friends, attempted to be rehomed in an already saturated market, or simply abandoned while the reproduction cycle continues. Conflicted beliefs and practices. There are conflicting beliefs and practices, especially concerning sanctity of life, which inconsistently overrides quality of life. There is a conflict over belief that sterilisation is haram, which therefore displaces any attempt to reduce suffering through preventing unwanted cat pregnancies. But the discordant practices of abandoning kittens or mothers or sexually active males to their fates is considered acceptable, as is poisoning cats, while euthanasia for any reason is considered haram. While euthanasia is considered haram, there is a lack of hospice care for terminally ill cats. The belief that an owner will be accountable for the death of a cat in their care, and the belief that God will care for the cat on the street, holds another pathway for abandonment. Furthermore, although the practice of selling cats is considered haram, it is openly embedded into society. Number 7, final exit. Upon completion of their contract, non-Saudi resident workers and their dependents must leave KSA. This is known as final exit. Once a final exit visa is issued, the resident has limited time to leave KSA, and their re-entry is forbidden unless a new visa is issued, which is bureaucratically burdensome and expensive. Many non-Saudi residents of various nationalities acquire cats in KSA, often by rescuing them from the street. However, the pay scale of some nationalities, the confusion in companion animal repatriation processes, and the lax attitudes towards companion animal responsibility leads to easy, no abandon consequence of cat abandonment. Recent grassroots attempts to use social media to help people understand the complex repatriation process and find affordable repatriation solutions have reduced this form of cat abandonment. However, these groups are not universally known. Furthermore, the bureaucratic handcuffs and expensive procedures put on many attempting to take their companion animals leads to forced abandonment, where adoption is again not possible in a saturated cat landscape. However, many of these reasons are enmeshed with others in an underdeveloped landscape for animal welfare. So what's in it for the cats? By reframing relinquishment with the human need as priority, the effect on the relinquished animals becomes invisible and their interests are often forfeited. Di Giacomo et al., when studying relinquishment shelters, demonstrate this by declaring, the staff offer the public shelter for unwanted pets and yet disparage those citizens who seek that service. Beneath this statement lurks a fundamental anthropocentric assuredness that shelters are there for people's convenience, not for the benefit and welfare of animals. In this context, there is an anthropocentric certitude that exists with those that see cats as lively commodities, where humans have an anthropocentric pejorative to treat cats as property, income, and disposable in perfunctory relinquishment actions. It could be argued that this worldview treats animal rescuers globally as existing primarily to serve and to submit to cat guardian interests, expected to capitulate to demands from relinquishers, to accept unwanted animals regardless of the consequences for the animal. This anthropocentric attitude is also seen across much of the KSA relinquisher or potential adopter landscape, rather than cat guardians committing to the lifelong responsibility for cat care. However, by reframing cats from commodities that serve our needs to community animals, part of our neighborhoods with whom lives are co-created, results in a reconnection with Islamic principles regarding other than human animals. Such principles, which express concern for all living species and reach out through a variety of hadiths to guide communities, is in line with contemporary anthropological thought, which seeks to reframe other than human lives within a post-human framework. Scholars, such as Haraway, Kirksey, Helmreich, and Singh, explain that all living beings emerge from and make their lives within multi-species communities. However, we do so with different levels of interaction and attention, says Van Doren. Moreover, Tuan says, unequal power relations lead scholars to recommend we rethink our consequential relationships and reframe our views towards multi-species communities. Lestel et al. Reminds us that cities are hybrids of human and animals, and suggests that the humano-cat society should be studied with reference to the idea that humans and cats both constitute parts of a multi-species city. Having shared spaces for millennia, cats are part of our communities, and being treated as ethically significant beings would uphold both Islamic teachings and multi-species philosophies, which would substantially enhance companion animal care frameworks in Saudi Arabia. So what am I hoping is the outcome for this research? With trepidation, I am planning to contact Saudi authorities with my findings and a set of strategies which could ease the suffering of street living cats, while also addressing societal tension regarding street living cats, of which abandonment is just a part. This tension comes from those who perceive street cats as dirty, those who feel cats should not live on the street for their own health and welfare, those who wish to eradicate street living cats through extermination, and those who wish to reduce the numbers of street living cats through trap, neuter, vaccinate, release programs, cat guardian, cat reuniting mechanisms when lost or found, and processes that could drastically reduce cat abandonment. Thank you for joining me today. And if you have any questions that you would like to ask me, please email me at sh750@exeter.ac.uk. Thank you.